state of dis-ease is coming from a combination of other factors that most people aren't really looking and breaking down. And then if we say, okay, well, my focus says that there's a state of dis-ease that I'm not comfortable with, there's something affecting me on a mind, body, or spirit level in one part of a form or field or dimension, right? It's impacting everything. We are whole and holistic. We are not just a combination of body parts or diagnosis codes or states of experience. We are not our emotions. We are not the predisposed genetics that we carry. We're all of it. And we're all of it in every moment. And it's constantly changing. And then that goes to the functionality, right? If we're constantly changing, if we're constantly experiencing something, and then that something is shifting all the time, that's speaking to the functionality of like, I like to say, the doing over the being, all right? So sometimes it's a matter of breaking down the doing versus the being. So what does it look like then? What does it feel like to be in a state of vibrant wellness? And I think especially while we're all sheltered in and while we're all struggling, and I mean, I love being stuck at home with my 2 teens. I will be honest. I love it because they have to spend time with me and we have to have dinner together. And this is, you know, they're going to be out of the house in a few years, right? So I am loving this togetherness, except for the fight I had yesterday with my daughter. But okay, sometimes a little too much togetherness, right? That's part of our form. That's part of our focus. That's part of the functionality. When all that stuff gets a little combustible, because that's what we're all experiencing, at least momentarily. So for me, I look at the products, I look at the lifestyle, I look at the state of where I am, what my body's going through, what my brain, what my heart, what my soul are going through. And that helps me to say, okay, so I need to open up. I need a new awareness. I want to be open to potential and to possibility of vibrant wellness because I'm not experiencing it in totality on a holistic level. So health to me really is about analyzing the form, focus, and functionality on that holistic, that combined level, if that makes sense. And to me, there's no question of this. Plant medicine is the core of how to address all of that. Because plant medicine isn't just about, and I know we've talked about this earlier, you guys touched on this, it isn't just one product, one dosage, one ingredient, one element. It doesn't work that way. And that's why, Dr. Flora, when you said that, it was really cool. We have to remember, just because somebody says, oh, kava kava or ginseng or this herb or that, or cannabis or hemp, those are all great. That doesn't mean for everybody in every combination, according to just pick it up, put it in your mouth and in your body and expect the same results. First of all, that's completely false. There's no possible way that that's going to be true. Okay. So thank you, my love. So I'm getting thumbs up from her. And it's actually part of the challenge of being in this industry and sharing this information. It's why I live the life I live. It's why I do the work that I do. It's why I wrote the book. You know, I had kids that were struggling. When I made my aromatherapy, I did it because I was looking for something. It's a yes and conversation. And I was, at the time, putting my kids on, at least my little one, he was on medication. And I was trusting parts of information, parts of knowledge without following my own intuition as deeply. And I'm a lot older than I look, but I got smarter and I listened more deeply and I made some really transformative shifts. That's, in fact, my aromatherapy was named for creating transformative shifts. And then even that aromatherapy, you know, as the kids grew, as the problems grew, as the shifts, as the focus and functionality adjusted, I was like, okay, well, that's still great stuff. Yes. And what else can I do to it to address the myriad challenges that each of us is facing, that my kids are facing, that I'm struggling with as a single mom and this mompreneur lifestyle that I have. And I used to be full-time clergy. I'm still a spiritual counselor. I'm still a healer. I'm a certified past life regressionist, and I do energy work and all of that. But I needed something that answered the deep whys. Why does this work for a certain amount of time? And then it seems to be that there's a plateau, whether it's cannabis, hemp, natural, nutritional, whatever it is. And I needed to boost it because the world got denser. The energy on the planet got more tricky. And it affected my kids, it affected me, it affected everybody I saw. So I put in the CBD to this aromatherapy series because I wanted to boost and combine more plant essences. Right? The answer wasn't just to take more of one thing. It was to expand the knowledge and expand the information that goes with it. That's why the book came out. And I wrote that book when my own son was in residential treatment. My kids have had a lot of hospitalizations. I used to work at a mental health hospital. So for 20 plus years, I've had the honor and the responsibility of showing up for people in the most intimate expressions of their lives. And that's including starting with my own children and my own life. And that's where all this comes from. I'm just trying to break down the information of what's available to offer education, inspiration, and the products to help everybody address whatever they need to address. And it's so specific to your own journey. It is so specific to your own experience, and it's constantly changing. So really this comes down to, if you want to break it into scientific terms, stimulus and response, right? That's what this is. But when I'm referring to that, I'm looking at things like food. All right, what kind of food are we putting in our body, right? It's not ever just one thing, which is why some things will work for a period of time, but you've got to go deeper and wider and higher and stronger when you really want to evaluate this form, focus, and functionality aspect to create vibrant wellness. So food is one. Environmental, okay, some of that we can't control. We can't control what's going on with our air and our soil culture and our water, and it does make a big difference, especially soil culture, when it comes to growing plants and herbs and medicine, whether it's living, live, really activated or not. And 5G, you know, I'm super concerned about all that. It's another webinar for another day, but, you know, there's certain things we can't control. So we have to be aware of it. We have to know what the impact of it is for that health and wellness side of it. And then we can look at the personal environment, right? Because that's where we have choice. That's where our choices matter, where they're having impact into the wholeness of our experience. Things that are, what do you use in the morning? You know, how many products are you using? They're saying that women are using a total of, I think it was 34 personal products just in their normal daily routine. Well, how many toxins are in those products? So if a product is safe, right? Safe, generally regarded as safe or GRAS, it doesn't mean that if you're using that plus 20 other products, now you may not be in the safe zone, right? So the one product may be, but we're not using just one product. So what's absorbing into your skin, your blood, affecting your organs, all that. But that's still just a couple of the layers. What about your thoughts? What about your emotional responses? What about the stimulus that is causing triggers, that's causing thought patterns of self-defeated behaviors, or, you know, your moods, the emotions? We all have trigger patterns, and some of those patterns and triggers aren't even from this lifetime. They're from the karma and the cellular memory from your past lives. So you can see that my brain pretty much, and my throat chakra, never turn off, because this is a lot to comprehend, and I'm putting in like 20 years of work in a 5-minute presentation, but I want to put it out there, you know, because this is really what it is to analyze holistic health, wellness, and sexuality. It is not just one thing. It is not just one product. It is so much bigger and deeper and more comprehensive and more challenging. But that being said, it's also about baby steps, okay? Because in the way we respond in our biochemical, our biological, and our physiological state, we're getting information from all of those things I mentioned, and then our system is responding perfectly to that stimulus. And what do I mean by perfectly? I mean, well, if you put in garbage, your system's going to say, oh, I don't love that. And it's having a perfect response. You just may not like the response. And that's a different subject. But it's perfect for what you're doing, thinking, feeling, offering, experiencing, right? That's what I mean by perfect response. And so we have to adjust some of those responses. That was my late dad, by the way. Someone else said it earlier, Jasmine, I think, that I too lost both my parents younger to states of dis-ease that we know cannabis and plant medicine could have assisted. But this lifetime is also about learning boundaries. You can offer yourself and the information, but sometimes the soul, for whatever reason, isn't in a place to receive it. And that's also part of what this experience is for me. But my late father, who was a neuroscientist, an early one, he used to say, it's a perfect response. And I'm like, well, I don't like it. I'm like, well, it's still a perfect response. So it taught me young to maybe, well, then how can I adjust it? How can I say thank you for the response? Because there's a teaching in that, right? There's an awareness. From the awareness, then you can start to address what that needs to look like. But this is about understanding the totality of our being. That's why cannabis and hemp are so profound. That's why it works so deeply. We as mammals are wired. Any creature with a spine has an endocannabinoid receptor system. We are naturally wired for these ingredients. But I love cannabinoids as much as I like terpenes, which is why I do aromatherapy. Essential oils are terpenes. That means the part of the plant that makes it smell, right? Lavender and citrus and pine, but the energy that goes with those scents is what I'm more interested in, if that makes sense. So that's why the aromatherapy for my company is the core, and then the holistic regimen is built beyond that. The very high powered tinctures, because I'm not into commercial products, no offense, but come on now, a product that's got like 25 to 200 milligrams in a bottle, unless you're going to take 6 bottles of that, because I personally take about 120 milligrams a day of CBD. When I had a major surgery here, I have a throat chakra now with titanium in it, officially, as thank you. And I took 400 to 500 milligrams a day. And nothing I'm saying is meant to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any disease. I'm not a medical doctor, and please, yes, consult your healthcare practitioner before beginning any wellness protocols. What I'm offering you is my personal experience, my 20 plus years in spiritual and holistic care. What I'm offering is education and hopefully just an awareness and an invitation for you to become your own best advocate, because ultimately this is your responsibility to step into a new place of knowledge and care and self-love. Before you can do self-care, you need to have self-love, because if you don't love yourself enough to say, I want to shift something, then you can't do the practice of self-care. So I'm shoving like 20 years of work in 5 minutes. But I think that it's really the reason I do this and why I'm here is to participate and to learn and listen and experience and explore and offer gratitude for the wisdom of others and that which I offer, and know that we are in this, as the species herself is collaborative, that she is about expressing various forms and function and various iterations of what health and healing and wellness, the seed, the nutrients, whether it's nutritionally, whether it's fiber, whether it's technology, whether it's, just down into those cannabinoids, right? We are all stewards of each other and of this planet. And at the end of the day, that is the message that I want to remind people. And I actually have one quick, if I can share, I'm going to wrap up and then we'll open for questions and all of that, because I'm more interested in hearing from you. I hope I'm doing this properly. I'm going to share a screen and give you one more tidbit of a little, here we go. All right. Hang on. Hopefully this will work. The following may result in love and warm, fuzzy feelings. Tap at your own risk. While we all adapt to the new normal, searching for meaningful ways to fill hours and days, worried and waiting for time to pass, consider this could be a unique opportunity, a time to explore conscious creativity, to reconnect, to remember your deep whys, because if you can, you're blessed. But it's not the case for everyone, so reach out. It makes a huge difference. We can convert the COVID crisis to a caring culture.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you. I always call you Dr. Adler. I know you're not a MD.
I'm a cantor. I'm a reverend. I'm a few things.
Right. So, well, thank you very, very much for that presentation. Do you have to run or can you hold on?
No, I'm good. I text in between. I pushed something else. I forgot a few more minutes to hang. So. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to move on to our next presenter. This young lady is out of Maryland. She is the founder and director and CEO of a company called Sacred and Juicy. And we're going to be bringing on the great Nura Safran Siobhan Morton. Hold on, I'm going to have to give her co-hosting capability for 1 second. Hold on. This has been such an experience for me as well as you guys, some of you guys who know me personally. I'm gonna get her squared away. So once again, you probably saw her intros at the beginning of the program. She was on Instagram Live with me a few times. She was actually the person that introduced me to Chef Katie. So, it's all family here. And, it's great to have her on board. Safan, happy 420. take it away.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you so much. This has been a phenomenal panel of experts that you have curated here. So I